and left.
We had to go home. Donna had work, I had work, and we weren't even out of Philly when he left the hospital.
Honestly, I could hardly even walk, and like my brain was in like such a fog at that time. It actually took me like 5 hours to get from Temple Hospital down to Kensington. I kept getting turned around and like confused. That's like a symptom with the tranq, is like confusion. You know, you just don't know what's going on really. Eventually I made it back down there. You know, everybody on the street was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, are you trying to kill yourself?" So I'm not really trying to live, you know? And I think that stress on my body from that whole situation is what really pushed it over the edge, because I was weak to the point after being out there with the trach in that it started to get infected. I was injecting in my neck, and to do that you have to blow, but I couldn't blow because I had this hole in my neck. So I was like missing shots. So then the trach itself was infected. I had abscesses all over my neck. I would like almost pass out just standing up. I'd be totally winded crossing the street. And I was sleeping next to my girlfriend the one night. It was bitter cold. And I woke up in the morning and my feet were uncovered from the blankets that we had. So I think they got uncovered while I was asleep somehow. And the next night we stayed in the shelter. And I didn't really notice anything, you know, the day after. But when we stayed in the shelter, I took my shoes off. I tried to put them back on in the morning. They wouldn't fit in my shoes, so they had like ballooned overnight from the frostbite damage. I didn't even realize I had it yet. But when I tried to stand up, I really couldn't. We got on a bus to leave, and they were taking us back to a train stop. It took me 2 hours to go 100 yards. You know, I had to lean all my weight on Brittany to even cross the street. I was just in rough shape. And I stayed out on the street for another day, and I went to the hospital. I flagged some cops down, and I said, "Look, guys, I need some help." You know, I said, my trach's infected badly. There's something wrong with my feet. Like, can you call an ambulance for me? And they were actually like, "Well, didn't we just try to get you into the hospital and you didn't want to go?" And I'm like, "Look, man, like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like, I'm asking you now." So the one cop, he shined his flashlight at my neck, and he was like, "Oh my God," he said, that's bad. He said, "I'm calling, man." You know, he told his partner that he's calling. The ambulance came. I couldn't walk. When I got to the hospital, they took a look at my neck, and I told them, you know, I think there's something wrong with my feet too. And when they took my shoes off, and they took my socks off, and my socks were actually like stuck to my skin. And when they took it off, the nurse just was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "What?" You know, and I looked down, and my feet were gigantic, covered in blisters. The skin was like dark purple, bruised, and just, you know, destroyed from the frostbite. I didn't even really know that I had it until that moment. I knew something was wrong, but not how bad. And she's like, "You're gonna lose your feet." And, you know, I could just think like I hope not, you know, like that's it. It was like it can't be that bad. You know, it was like immediate denial. But it went on to prove that, no, I had severe frostbite. I lost circulation to my feet, and they started to turn black. They started to get infected. And the doctor came in one day, and he told me that I have a choice to make, you know. And he said, "We can do surgery on your feet if you want, but it's probably going to take a long time. It's going to be a lot of pain, and it's no guarantee in the end." He said, "Well, you know, you have a really bad case here." He let me sit with that for a couple of days, and he came in, and he was like, "You know, we can do the amputation if you want." And I told him, you know, I'd thought about it. I said, let's just do it, man. You know, I'd rather just get a clean start with prosthetics and go from there, because they told me even if the surgeries went well, I was most likely going to have severe nerve damage. You know, I might have dead feet, you know, so like no feeling in them. I didn't want that either, you know. It's almost as bad as not having them. So I'm actually in the process of getting prosthetics now. I took a couple of steps the other day, which was...
With the full prosthetic legs?
Yeah, which was awesome. Yeah, the best steps of my life, dude. Mm-hmm. For real.
Flopping to the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a good start.
So let's do it. Ready? 1,